we all want some sort of confirmation and affirmation in making right decisions. You see, right decisions always seem to make life easier. And when we're thinking about right decisions or wrong decisions, oftentimes what ends up happening is that we're choiced with these different options. And in our mind, what we really think about is the right option being conclusive, being definitive, and being able to know that, yes, when you make that turn and you go down that path, there's so many things that give you a thumbs up and makes us feel genuine and really good about our process. But when we make a wrong decision, the complete opposite happens. You're almost in this like paradox where, the signs tell you, hey, you've made the wrong decision, or there's this concrete evidence and feedback in our lives that tell you this was the wrong decision, you should have went the other way. And the reality is, when you're making decisions, that's not what's going to end up happening. You see, when you're in a position where you're making a decision, a lot of times there's anxiety and there's tension. The reason that anxiety, or the reason that tension is there, is because you're struggling between something that you might be best for you, but something that you also want, or maybe something that logically sounds really good versus something that's by intuition pulling or navigating you to go that other way. And I bring this up because T in the road is what I like to refer to as this dilemma. And oftentimes when you're facing, you're going at a T in the road, you don't know what's happening, and you're really stuck between this place of using logic and using emotion. Logic and emotion. And when you're moving down this path, life seems to have this funny way of making it very ambient and very obvious and digging into emotion. A lot of times that it clouds us, not because emotion's bad and not because it's justified by what we're thinking, but especially by when you're thinking about the emotions and the different obstacles and the different things that you might be enduring in your life, you take very sentiment towards it. And then without voice of reason, without something that you could actually trust and be completely engaged and vulnerable in, you're going to be bound to make those kinds of decisions in your life over and over for the rest of your life. Which means that you will always be reciprocating your decisions based on what happens directly in front of you. And there's no way to live. And the reason there's no way to live is because when you're moving down a path of intention and when you're trying to accomplish a goal, it takes clear, conscious thinking in the direct future. See, not where are you 2 or 3 steps, but where are you going in a trajectory way, way, way far out, even places that you cannot see. And when you make that decision now, you're not just thinking about emotion, you're using your intuition, you're using logic, and you're using skills. And so what I'm here to basically talk about is when you go into a T in the road conversation, oftentimes that's going to start with between you and your head. You see, we all have this version of ourselves, it's our higher spirit, and we know exactly what this is. You see, you in particular might be in a position where, the day is going right, everything's moving forward, and you have this energy, you have this can't be stopped feeling. The superhero or superheroine, that's when you're living in your higher self, when things are moving forward and you have that balance, that synchronicity between your spirit. And then you also have this position, oftentimes it's a dilemma, which is something that you might have done to put yourself in a situation, or a situation that you might not have asked for, but it's there, it's on your plate. You know what, it's not going anywhere until you're able to meet it. You see, what ends up happening is that you have you and your circumstance and you and your higher self, and you can begin to have this conversation. I like to think that conversation is much more than a monologue, but a dialogue. It's a conversation between 2 different entities that both represent you, and you need to be able to reciprocate and bounce off ideas and be able to figure out and come to a conclusive idea, and that idea is simply this: what is important? See, when you're asking yourself that question, you're not asking yourself sentimentally, how do you feel in response to this situation that you're in that's unfavorable? What you're really saying is, out in that area, way out in my future, that distance that I'm going, that journey that I'm on, that is important. And if I'm going to stay on that path, and if I'm going to be sentimental about the decisions I need to make in order to get to that area, right now in this unfavorable circumstance, what decision do I need to make in order to make all this happen, in order to make all this concrete? And that's the ticket. You see, what's going to end up happening in that situation is now you're going to have the lux, now you're going to have the energy and the ambition and the desire and the hunger to make the disciplines. And you'll figure out and navigate exactly what you have to do. What is the mindset you have to make? What situations might have got you here? Or where can you go and who can you talk to figure out the level of resources or resourcefulness that's actually going to help you. And when you're able to do that, bit by bit, you begin to kind of dig yourself out of that hole, out of that trench, and situations begin to move. And the trick is this: you're not going to feel better in the moment, but shortly after, what's going to end up happening is that your mind is going to have this resilience, and it's going to let go, drop off all those concrete emotions that seem to just have you at an unparalleled negative focus. And now you'll have a little bit more autonomy. You won't have that austerity weighing you down, and then you can actually move your head and you can begin to look at all the options available to you. You will get better at this T in the road conversations, and many times you'll be able to actually navigate what is the right and wrong decision. You're not nearly as stuck as you think you are when it comes to making right decisions. Oftentimes the very blockade and the very issue that you're facing is about your emotion and your logic and which of the two is going to be the wrong way. And if you can take a step back and figure out a way between your higher self and yourself in the situation and decipher how to approach the situation that you're in, you're going to find that you have everything you need. That in itself is how you get to that destination that you're looking for.